They say that all press is good press, and case in point, I'd never even heard of the game Martha is Dead until it started making headlines for Sony demanding that parts of it be cut in order for release on PlayStation. The developer, Wired Productions, issued a statement about the release on PS4 and PS5, clearly somewhat upset about the situation, as it requires the delay of physical release to make the changes. And the edits have not been required for an Xbox or PC release, so what exactly is going on here? In 2022, what could cause Sony to say that a game goes too far and must cut content in order to be released? Surprisingly, it's nothing with sex or nudity, which in the US, is usually the culprit. But if you really want to know, I should put a content warning up here for the description of graphic violence. I'll link to the main scene everyone is talking about, but I won't embed it here. While there may be a few instances of too far violence, the one that keeps getting brought up is that a player cuts off the face of their dead sister. And it's not just that they cut it off, it's that the action is actually a mini-game where you have to move the blade around and peel the face off. If you really want to see it, you can watch the scene, and a streamer react to it, here. This has set off a good old-fashioned debate about video game violence, the likes of which we haven't seen for a while now, getting Manhunt vibes with all this. There are camps that say, knowing the context here of how brutal this scene is, they understand PlayStation's actions. Others say that the censorship is unnecessary, pointing to ultra-violent scenes in games like The Last of Us Part 2, and saying that clearly Xbox didn't have a problem with the Martha sequence. One middle ground solution that does not appear to be offered is that some games have an option to disable especially graphic scenes that is offered at the beginning of a game or before a sequence. But from the sound of Wired Productions' statement, they're not too keen on compromising their horror vision here. Another suggestion is to rate the game adults only, AO, instead of mature, M, is somewhat untenable, given that AO games are effectively banned from all storefronts by default, meaning you might as well just not release the game at all. The end result of this is that Wired Productions is making the changes to meet the demands of Sony, but they're not happy about it. Again, I have no idea if this game on the whole is actually good or not, and had heard nothing about it until this moment, but it certainly grabbed at some attention. We'll see if that's a good or bad thing to come. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to my free weekly content roundup newsletter, God Rolls. Pick up my sci-fi novels, the Hero Killer series and the Earthborn trilogy.